What is up, you guys? Welcome back to a rebroadcast of Midlife Vibes live stream Monday night edition. I don't know if we're going live Monday. Today's Monday. We're going live. That's what we're doing. Just gonna sit here and chit chat for a minute as people join in because it's not a day we normally go live. Tomorrow we will be live Tuesday night, which I am excited for. But today is a day of just wanted to talk about some things going on with Rise of the Resistance. And that's something new that's happening out there, which is pretty awesome. So we will be, hello, Armando. What's going on, man? Jedi Blue Master, hello. Hey, Trix Young, how you doing? So I am just waiting for some people to jump on. I thought I had everything I needed and what I wanted to have, but I am actually thinking I might jump on my tablet here too, but we'll see what's going on. Hey, Trix Young. Juan Rodriguez. London says, hi, everyone. Ronnie, that's awesome. Tell London I said, hi, London. Hi, London. I guess I said hi to London myself. Hi. How you doing? You're up late. It's almost your bedtime. So I'm doing pretty good, Armando. I'm doing pretty good. We went on a little mini vacation this weekend, traveled through 4 states, which the vlog will be coming soon. It'll probably post on like Thursday or something to tide you over until Friday, the Rise of the Resistance Day, which we are excited for. So as people jump on here, we will be getting to that information soon enough. But how's everyone else doing? How was everyone's weekend this weekend? How was everyone's weekend this weekend? I don't know. Hey, Andrea, how are you? Welcome. I am just checking a couple things here. I have some things on the computer to my right, but I kind of wanted to see if I can get it on my tablet in front of me, which might be easier. I'm not sure, though. Hey, DDG in the house. What is up, DDG? Welcome to the stream. So how are you? You saw on IG, it looked fun. Yeah. And by the way, spoiler alert, I've been on Rise of the Resistance, and OMG, is it awesome. If you haven't seen the videos, check them out on our channel here because it is amazing. That's all I can say is amazing for sure. And while we're waiting for people to jump in there, hey, Carla, how are you? Don't forget to hit that like button as you make your way into the chat. Let's see. Dude, and I'm going to tell you right now, and we'll talk about Rise of the Resistance a little bit, but the video does not do the ride justice at all. You think the ride looks awesome on video? Oh my God, when you live it, when you ride it, when you're feeling the feels that are happening when you're on that ride, oh my God, it's unbelievable. It is crazy. Yeah, it is absolutely nuts. So give me 1 second here. Let me type something in down here. See if I can find the same information that I had over there on here. I think I should be able to. Okay. So I don't know why. Hold on, guys. I'm not getting any chat on my phone up here. So I can't see your so I'm looking down to the side instead of up here. So give me 1 second. This always happens, and I'm not sure why, but it does. There we go. There's everybody's chitter chatter going on. Brittany's new page. Oh my gosh, how are you? Hey now, just finished dinner. My belly is full for at least 5 minutes before dessert. Oh, so we went to Norm's for Juan, plug your ears. Becky and I went to Norm's for dinner tonight. I was really feeling like breakfast. I wanted some breakfast. Hey, J Cal, what it up? What's up? Kiddo TV in the house. What it do? Yeah, I felt like eating some breakfast, so we went to Norm's, and I got the bigger, better breakfast with coffee. Becky got like a steak and some salad and some soup, and I had a little bit of that. I think I overdid it on the Norm's situation. I mean, my belly is really, really, really full. So yeah, so that is crazy. So I don't know. I know a few of you guys out there are heading out to Rise of the Resistance on Friday. I know Juan and Kiddo, we're all going out there. They might get there a little bit before me because I don't know if I can get there as early as what it's talking about now as far as it going. So, I know I labeled this tips and tricks. So just a few, if you are planning on going to Rise of the Resistance, I would say not even the grand opening day. I would say the grand opening day, the next day, and the next day, all weekend. These things probably do apply for you because it is going to be madness over there. I mean, it is really going to be crazy. It's going to be everyone. My first tip is go with an open mind and go understanding that there might be some disappointments in the process and with the people around you and with trying to get on the ride. Okay, you're going to have to show extreme patience with what's going on. And hopefully everybody there is going to show that patience also, because it is going to be packed. There's going to be a lot of waiting. There's going to be a lot of bumping into people. It's going to be just so crowded. So, first thing, go with just having that calm, cool mind, be patient, be relaxed. It's going to be chaos, but just try to relax when you go in there because, man. And then there's a chance that even if you go in that early, that you may not be able to get on the ride. You have to be able to get a boarding pass. And even with the boarding passes, that does not guarantee you a ride, because if you're a later boarding pass and they have a lot of ride difficulties or the ride goes down, they have a lot of downtime, those later boarding passes will be notified in the afternoon that there's a chance that your boarding pass will not be called. Now, on the flip side of that, there's also not standby groups, but on-call boarding pass groups who don't get boarding passes. You can be on call, and if things go really smoothly and they can get everybody on the ride really quickly, then there's a chance that the on-call people might be able to get on the ride also. But first and foremost, let's talk about one of the tips is what time should you get to the parks? Now, the park opens at 8 a.m., right? So you're like, oh, as long as I'm there by 8 a.m. No, not the case. Not true. Not true in any way, shape, or form. I just found out today that the Toy Story parking lot, not the parking structure, but the Toy Story parking lot will be opening at 2 a.m. Everyone said 4 a.m., but 2 a.m. is the word that I have. Now, I would double check me on that, but that is what I have heard so far. This information came from City Hall in Disneyland, and if these people were informed correctly, then 2 a.m. is what time the Toy Story parking lot will be opening up. That is really early. The other parking structure, I don't know a time yet. I just don't have that time. I'm assuming it's going to be 2 a.m. also, but I don't know for sure. The word was 4 a.m. until I just found out that 2 a.m. is the word. Now, that's going to be weird because you're going to be able to park at 2 a.m. So the parking lot will be open, but will they have buses transporting you over to the park at 2 a.m.? Or is it just you can park in the parking lot at 2 a.m.? They will take your money or your pass and get you into that lot at 2 a.m. But here's the question. When they do that, does that mean buses will be running at 2 a.m. or will they be expecting you to walk to the parks? And then the second part of that is once you get to the park, will security be open for you? Because I don't know. I'm assuming security will not be open at 2 a.m. It could be. Actually, isn't security open all night long? Security is open 24/7, but will they have enough people to let you in? Because you know why security is open 24/7 is because people have to go back and forth from hotels, downtown Disney, things like that. So they usually have one thing open, I believe, all night long. I want to say yes, because I've been through security in the middle of the night, early morning hours, and there was nobody else there, but security was still open. So, we'll see about that. But so if not, security's not open, you'll start lining up outside of security. And then once you go through security, you'll head over to the gates and you'll start lining up at the gates. Oh, you heard security isn't open 24 hours. Okay, because I just wondering how they get the cross traffic from downtown Disney out through. Like, what time does security close? They close it. See, here's the deal. Some of the bars and some of the places in downtown Disney, and then you have to think of the workers too. They don't close until 1 a.m. or midnight sometimes. So by the time they get out and get through, I mean, I've gone through security at 2 a.m. and there's been a security there, and it's just been one, but they were there. So I don't know what time they would close, because if the parking structure or parking lot opens at 2 a.m., if security's still there, are they going to let people in, or are they just what are they going to do? Like, how are they going to handle that? I mean, these are all things that need to be thought of, or we need answers for before 3 or 4 days from now, when we have to go through this. So can we go through hotels? You cannot go through hotel. Well, I mean, you could probably walk through hotels, but you can't get into the Grand Californian from the street without room. And I don't know why you'd want to go through Pixar or Paradise Pier Hotel or Disneyland Hotel. That doesn't lead you to anywhere near the park. So I don't know. Yeah, I would think, kiddo, there's always one person there, but I'm sure they thought of this. I'm sure they have a plan. I'm sure we just don't know about it yet. So, here's what I'm thinking is they're going to want to get as many people into the Esplanade as quickly as possible in front of the gate entrances to get that ready to go. And then this is just my belief, and I haven't heard this. Don't quote me on this or anything like that. But I also believe that they'll probably open up the gates to Disneyland a little early and rope you off on Main Street and just make you wait there, because with the amount of people going in there, it's going to be a lot that they're going to need to have staging areas for us. I asked a customer service rep on Disneyland chat a few weeks ago. Maybe it changed. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Now, I would think that here's where I would think security is not 100%, is that they're not going to have security open at the parking structure at 2 a.m, 3 a.m. But, I don't know about at the Esplanade. So we'll see what happens. But with the amount of people coming, it's going to get very crowded. Wouldn't you just be able to get to the South Harbor Boulevard entrance across the IHOP and just wait at security? Yes, that's what I'm saying. Even if security wasn't open, you would still be able to wait outside of security. And then, but here's the deal is there's going to be so many people that are going to be lining up down through security, down Harbor Boulevard. I think they're going to want to get you in, and then they're going to want to get you in front of the gates, and then they're going to want to get you up to the hub inside Disneyland and just wait, because there's going to be thousands of people there. But here's the thing also. So then once you're inside Disneyland proper, you're on Disneyland property, in Disneyland. Now what time are they going to open up the boarding pass system? Is it really going to be 8 o'clock? Is it going to be 7 o'clock? Is it going to be 6 o'clock? I don't know. And as soon as that boarding pass system opens up, you got to hit your boarding pass on that Disneyland app, bam, really quick, because that's going to, determine kind of when you're able to get on that ride. No stapler gun, human person. Thank you very much. Becky is not here right now. She is out fabric shopping, so she is crafting and doing her thing there. So thank goodness, no staple gun for me today. But you got to be in the park. Yes, you have to be in the park. That's what I'm saying. And that's why, Zippy Mike, that's why people are going to line up early, is because they're going to be one of the first ones in the park. Because, if you go to a normal rope drop, the hub gets kind of crowded and it starts getting a little bit crowded. Well, this is not a normal rope drop. So what's going to happen is the hub is going to get crowded. Main Street's going to get filled. And people are going to start backing up all the way to the ticket gates, or to the where they scan you at the gate to get into the park. So if you're one of the first people, you will already be in the park and be able to get your boarding pass. So that'll be good for those people. The other good news is you can only get one boarding pass per ticket. Or annual pass or regular ticket. So that's another restriction that I saw on there. So if you want to ride the ride multiple times in a day, more than likely you're not going to be able to do it. Well, A, because the boarding passes will be gone. But even if they weren't, I believe the rules say that you can only get one boarding pass per day. And I'm sure they track that somehow electronically through your ticket or your annual pass. This is just the information that I've heard. If I'm incorrect on anything, please let me know. Yes, I think the boarding passes will be locked until 8 a.m., but this might be a special occasion where they unlock it a little bit earlier. We really don't know. I would think that they probably wouldn't unlock it until they can get people moving, so get everybody into the park for that. But my advice is you're going to need to get there very early. If you're not there at 2 a.m., probably 3 a.m., 4 a.m. at the latest, and you would need to be there very, very early for that. What? You're home? I didn't even know you were here. Look at that, you guys. Becky here. Oh my goodness, she scared me. She opened the door. But you had it here. After we ate, you had your phone. Hopefully, you don't leave it at Joanne's. Yeah, then that's a good question, Zippy Mike. Like, what are they gonna do about the Magic Morning people? Like, or do they not have Magic Morning at Disneyland that day and they have it at DCA? Don't they do that sometimes? They do Magic Morning in DCA and not at Disneyland, and sometimes they do it at Disneyland and not DCA. Those are all good questions that we just don't know the answer to. But we'll see what happens with that. So another thing I would say is carpool with your friends, because parking's going to be a nightmare. So try to carpool with people. If you know you're going to be there all day with them or however long, try to buddy up with everybody. Here's another question I had for you. So let's say I'm there with my friends, right? I got Dee and Fernie and Juan standing next to me, and I'm there, and the boarding passes open up, and we all hit boarding passes on our phone. Boom, 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 boom. But we all get different boarding pass times. Is there a way for us to all get the same boarding pass time? Do I have to put my pass on Juan's phone so that way when he does boarding pass, he can link all of our tickets to that? That's a good question. Magic Morning peeps get first dibs. They're paying $600 for the hotel plus $349 for the ticket. Yeah, that's probably right, Juan. Josh and Becky, thank you for my package. I did get it last week. Oh, no problem, El Cruz. That's yours. You want it. Friday is at DCA for Magic Morning. Thank you, Melissa. So they won't have to worry about the Magic Morning. So that's a good one. You have to link your group passes to whoever is trying to get the boarding pass. Okay, so I think Kiddo, we'll have to designate whoever we designate. I'll give you guys my pass information, and we'll throw it on your phone, and you guys can see. We can all get because I think the key to a great time, since I have ridden this ride, is you definitely want to ride it with your friends. I think that is like an experience because you are going through a story. You are going through an adventure, and there's nothing like an adventure with friends. That's for sure. Yeah, we can do that too. But remember, only one boarding pass per thing. It works like a Max Packs, I'm sure. Yeah, I was thinking Zippy Mike, that it probably does work like that, where if you have everybody on there, you can do it. So Dee can get it done for us. Yeah, out of all of us, Kiddo, I trust Dee the most with this type of process because she is the queen of organization and making sure we are all on point. So with that, I think I will trust her. So, and according to Disney, I'm just going to read a couple things here. Once you've entered the Disneyland main gates, the official Disneyland app, you'll see the Join Boarding Pass button. It will be locked, but once it becomes unlocked, you will want to make sure that you get your boarding. You click it to get your boarding pass right away. Now, once you have your boarding pass, and I've already learned this because I went through the cast member preview, and I'm not a cast member, but I went through the cast member preview. That once you get your boarding pass, there's some time. We were boarding pass number 2, so that was awesome. We got there early, and we were boarding pass number 2 for the ride, which was really cool. Which I thought, I had to run right over to the ride, like I had to get right there, and I was having anxiety and like I have to be there. Even though on my phone it said they're not even boarding yet. So even though the park opens at 8, they might not boarding group 1 for a half hour or so.
I know somebody that stayed.
You want to?
I have to go do yours.
I know, but you want to?
I know somebody that stayed in Batu. My hair's all crazy. Sorry, guys. I know somebody that stayed in Batu for 4 hours because they were afraid to leave Batu and the boarding pass come up.
Yeah.
So they literally stayed for 4 hours in Batu.
Yeah, that's crazy to me. So what I did was we figured out, we walked into Batu, or we went to the planet of Batu, and then we kind of went by the entrance to Rise of the Resistance. We saw they weren't boarding anybody at all, so that kind of calmed my nerves a little bit and said, okay, they're not boarding yet. This app is correct. And they actually, for us, and I don't know if it's going to be the same for opening, but for us, they directed you to, on your little boarding pass, they directed us to a website that took us to a place that gave us the boarding order. I think they're going to do it through the Disneyland app for the regular opening, but for the cast member preview, it directed us to a special website for it. And it said, Rise of Resistance is not boarding right now. So we're like, okay, cool. So that went on for probably the first half hour, 45 minutes that the park was open. They were not boarding anybody at all. But then as soon as they started boarding group one, I see, oh my gosh, boarding group one. So I figured boarding group one, that was going to take a half hour or more for them to go through that, but it didn't. It was literally boarding group one, and then within 10 minutes, they're boarding group 1 and 2. And then by the time we got to Rise of the Resistance, and we were in Frontierland, which is not very, actually, New Orleans Square, I believe it's where we were, and it was not very far away. They were boarding groups 1 through 6 already. So it's not like they board one group and then they stop it and then they board another group. You have a 2-hour window that you have. So once they call your boarding group, you have 2 hours to get to the ride to be able to board it. So if your boarding group starts at 8:30 in the morning, you have until 10:30 in the morning to board the ride. And what they'll do is, based off of how many people have gone through the ride and what the line looks like and stuff, they'll add boarding groups. And then at 10:30, if that was boarding group 1 was boarding at 8:30, at 10:30, boarding group 1 drops off, and then it says boarding groups 2 through whatever they've gotten to. So when we got onto the ride, they were boarding groups 1 through 6. Here's the best part about the boarding pass system was, for us anyway, I'm sure they'll have bigger groups with the boarding pass for this, but the ride was a walk-on. You walked in with all the pre-shows and stuff. It was pretty much a walk-on. We walked right into the first pre-show. There was no line before that first pre-show. We walked right into the first pre-show. Now, I'm sure there'll be a little bit of a line, but I heard with the boarding passes that the most you're waiting is like 10, 15 minutes. So I think that's still the case, which is awesome. Yeah, dude, that should be open 24/7. They would have to hire a lot more people to work there for sure if they did that. But so just remember that you have 2 hours. So don't feel like you have to run. Don't run. That you don't want to run in Disneyland. They don't encourage that. And you have to, just like your Fremont Las Vegas should never close. Yeah, right, Juan? Hey, can you explain the 2 a.m. thing again? I got my friend with me, and we're trying to plan this whole thing out. And do you think it's for real? 2 a.m. is when I heard Toy Story parking lot is opening up. I know before that, I thought 4 a.m. was when the parking structure was opening up. I don't have that time for sure. But from City Hall and Disneyland, 2 a.m. is what I hear. And just really keep an eye on Disneyland website, because I'm sure they'll give official instructions and official times on their website. You could probably call Disneyland customer service, and maybe if they know, they can give you a for sure answer. I'm just repeating what I heard from Disneyland City Hall. And like I said, sometimes they give out wrong information. Don't get me wrong here, but I'm pretty sure they're not giving out wrong information with this one. I think it's going to be 2 a.m. is going to be the time. So once you have your boarding group, don't sit in Batu. Don't sit in front of the ride. You don't need to. Let it be open. There's cross traffic going from people who are going to the Millennium Falcon ride, to Smuggler's Run, who are just visiting, just not even here for Rise of the Resistance. But, go there, take some pictures if you want, and then go enjoy the park. Go enjoy the park until your group gets called. Because if you're boarding group 20 or 30, it's gonna be a few hours before you get into the ride. Maybe 6 hours before you can get on the ride. So really just go enjoy the park. Go enjoy your time. You can get fast passes while you have the boarding pass. I did it. I'm sure you'll be able to do it that day also. So that's another tip, is don't just sit and wait in Batu. Don't wait in Galaxy's Edge for your boarding pass. It's okay. As long as you're getting a signal on your phone, you'll get it. And then also, even if you're not getting a signal on your phone, they're going to have kiosks up throughout the park that'll tell you which groups are boarding at that time. So if you don't have a phone, and here's another tip, if you don't have a smartphone that you can get the Disneyland app, you can go to a guest service booth and they will assist you. But I would not recommend that because I'm pretty sure the boarding passes are going to go pretty quick. So you got to have the Disneyland app downloaded and ready to go on your phone for this. Make sure it's ready to go. Okay, that's just important. Just make sure it is set up and ready to go. Make sure your account is there. I would have your ticket tied into it. Have everything ready to go for that day before that day. If you're buying your ticket that day, I don't recommend buying your ticket that day. I recommend you go online and you buy your ticket in advance for that day because you don't want to be at a ticket booth when you could be in line for getting in and getting your boarding pass. Okay, so in this day and age, you can get your ticket in advance. Almost everybody has a smartphone. And if you don't have a smartphone, maybe someone in your group has a smartphone. Get the Disneyland app on there. Get your ticket tied into their app or your app if you have one, and be ready. I mean, the key is the planning and being ready for that. For us, we don't have to worry. We have annual passes, so we're ready to go. We're like, yeah. But I know there's people who are flying into town just for this and getting tickets just for that day to ride the ride. And that's going to be a bummer if some of them do that and they don't even get on the ride. Hey, Priscilla, how are you doing? And hi, Rosa, how are you? But I think if you can, just get everything early and then you'll be there early for sure. Let's see. Yeah, make sure your notifications are turned on. So that way, if you're not checking your phone often, here's what I found that morning, I pretty much had my phone in my hand, except for when we were riding Big Thunder or Indiana Jones or something while we were waiting for our boarding pass. I would check it every few minutes, my phone, to see when the boarding group was there. We actually sat down for a minute we were going to get something, just go to the restroom. And then by the time she came back, there was a boarding, it said we were boarding. And I was like, whoa, that was quick. We were boarding. So, but we had 2 hours. You have to remember, we had 2 hours to go get there. So Jessica had to calm me down because I was kind of excited. And I was kind of like, oh my God, we're boarding. I'll breathe. And then, we walked there and she had to remind me that, Dad, we got 2 hours before we have to get on this ride. So don't worry. We got time. They're not going to not board you. They're calling it your number 2. Don't worry. You're good. So I was like, okay, I'm good. I can get on this ride. But it was very, my heart was pounding a lot for that. I think we covered that. Let's see. Just a reminder, there's no guarantee that if you obtain a boarding pass that you will get to ride the ride. It just all depends on, how the ride is going and how everything's going there. So hopefully everything goes good. We're hoping for a smooth transition. I think that's why they also were doing boarding passes for cast members to help test out the system and see how it works. But, and I already covered that Toy Story will be opening at 2 a.m. and the ticket. Okay. So at the Toy Story parking lot will be opening at 2 a.m. The ticket booths on the east side of the resort will be opening at 5 a.m. that morning. But like I said, I recommend you just get the tickets in advance. I don't know if there will be a single rider line open for that ride. I was going to score a hotel around the area the last couple of weeks. So that's awesome. Because I'm assuming every hotel is going to be booked up by now. Let's see. So even right now in like Walt Disney World, that they're still having guests show up at 6 a.m. and the park doesn't open till 8 a.m. and the ride has been open for a while now over there. So we'll see what happens. I think this ride, because boy, this ride, you guys, I already went on the ride. I don't even need to be there opening day, but I'm going because I'm so excited to ride the ride again. I'm pretty sure that every day off I have, I'm going to want to go and get a boarding pass and ride this ride. It's just that amazing. It really is. So I'm not sure exactly what this means, but it does say that the boarding pass system is a lottery-based system. So just because guests might have waited in line for hours to enter the park doesn't necessarily mean that they will be the first to receive a boarding pass. So I'm hoping that if you're up there early and you press get a boarding pass, that you get one, and it hopefully it gives you a one that's early. But I'm sure there's going to be thousands of people pressing the button at the exact same time to get a boarding pass. So it's going to be interesting to see, how that works. But we'll see. We'll see. And just so you know, make sure you tell all your friends that if you don't have a boarding pass, you will not be riding the ride. And I'm assuming this is going to go on for a month or 2 months at least, this boarding pass system, because it's working very well in Walt Disney World and they're still doing it. So I'm assuming they're going to continue to do it, because Disneyland really, honestly, they don't want you to wait in line for 5 hours, 6 hours. They don't want that. That just ruins the experience of the day for people. So I think there's a great plan that they have to be able to get you a pass to get on the ride and still be able to enjoy the park and not have to wait in a huge, long line. Juan, kiddo, if you don't have a boarding pass, you will not ride the ride, okay? So, kiddo, you better make sure that you guys are on it, okay? And then let's talk about guests with disabilities, because how does that work? So here's the recommendation, and I don't know exactly how they're going to do it, but the recommendation is, I believe if you're a guest with disabilities, you're still going to need to obtain a boarding pass. Now, will exceptions be made during your boarding pass time? I believe you will, if they have I think the queue is wide enough for most guests with disabilities. It is quite a long queue with the pre-shows and everything, but I'm not sure how they work it out, because I think the pre-shows are crucial for the ride. So I would think if you're a guest with disabilities that you would want to see the pre-shows and go through that. So we'll see what happens. Not to have to wait 6 hours. Yeah, you don't want to be like Universal and have to wait 6 hours for the ride. But so with guests with disabilities, I think the first thing you'd want to definitely do is get yourself a boarding pass like everybody else, and then see the what do you call the people who stand in front of the ride on Batu? The people from Batu, or that are living on Batu, you'd want to ask them if there is anything special you need to do, that you have your disabilities. But I believe when I was walking through the queue line, I believe that you could take your scooter through it, or your wheelchair through it, or whatever you have through the queue line. I could be wrong, because I was kind of overwhelmed with amazement with what was going on, but I think that you could definitely do that. So I would just say, first, make sure you get a boarding pass, because without that boarding pass, whether you're disabled or not, I believe you're going to need it to ride the ride. And then, this ride is pretty much for everybody. I don't know what the height requirement is. Anybody want to look up and know what the height requirement is for the ride? But it is not too extreme. It is not a crazy roller coaster, and I think everybody can go on this ride. But it's quite interesting that morning. I've never done something like this where we've gone so early in the morning. So let's just run through the tips really quickly, and the tricks really quickly, to see from start to finish. Just do a quick run through. First off, get there when the parking lot opens up. It opens up at 2 a.m. I would recommend everyone who wants to get a boarding pass, to be there by 4 a.m. in the morning at the latest, but the earlier the better. I'd recommend lining up and stay with your group of friends. Don't lose them, because it's going to be crowded. Have all if you're with a group of friends, have all your tickets loaded on the app on one person's phone, so that way that person can get the boarding pass, or load all your tickets on everybody's phone, and whoever gets the boarding pass first will get it, and that'll be the key to getting the same boarding pass for everybody in the group. Definitely, it's going to be freezing cold out this Friday morning. So wear lots of jackets, get something nice and warm and fuzzy. And if you have a friend that has a scooter or anything like that, ask them if they can hold your blankets for you because it is going to be cold that morning. But stay with your group. Get everyone tied up onto the Disneyland app. First get the Disneyland app. Get all your tickets pre-bought before the day of the event, and then get everything tied together on the Disneyland app with your group. And then just start lining up. And then please be patient. Please be courteous. And don't yell at any cast members. It's not their fault if anything goes wrong. If the ride malfunctions, if something happens, it's not their fault. So be nice to them. And then once you get into Disneyland, you'll go up towards rope drop. Just be ready. Have your app open. Have it ready to go. So as soon as you see the boarding pass, join a boarding group, unlock, you press that button. You get that going because you want to be part of a boarding group right away. So you make sure you're paying attention to that. Stay focused on that. And then once you get your boarding group number, you don't need to go straight to Batu. Don't go straight to Galaxy's Edge. Go enjoy the time you have and just wait for your boarding group to be called. If you don't trust the internet on your phone or the cell signal on your phone, then you can look at the different kiosks throughout the park that are going to tell you what boarding groups are boarding at that time. But let's not overwhelm the area of Galaxy's Edge unnecessarily, guys. Okay, so go out, enjoy the parks. It'll be a great time to ride some rides and just talk with fellow Star Wars fans, Disneyland fans, all that stuff. So let's have a good time doing that. And then when your time comes, you have a 2-hour window to get onto the ride. Don't be late, but no need to run. Just you have 2 hours. That's plenty of time. You can get from one side of the park within 2 hours, like no problem. Probably can get from one side of the park to the other within 15 minutes. So even if you're on an attraction, you're on Star Tours, and you're just about to get on, you see that your boarding group's boarding, still get on the ride. Get on the ride, enjoy it, have a good time before you panic and freak out because you have 2 hours to get on the ride. And then my recommendation is once you're on the ride and you're off the ride, once you ride it and you're like, oh my God, this is the most amazing thing in the whole wide world. I can't believe it. Josh is right. This is the best ride that Disney has ever put out that I have ever experienced in my life. Don't hang out too much in front of the ride because it is going to be crowded. And, you want to hang out for a little bit, cool, whatever. You want to talk to friends and stuff, cool. But just be courteous of everybody else who's might not be able to get on the ride at that time and need to pass through there, or people coming to get on the ride and you're blocking their way because you are so excited. You don't care about anybody else around you anymore. And you just want to just talk to all your friends about how great it is, but be courteous of everybody else coming through there. And just like that, you've ridden Rise of the Resistance. And oh my, no way, Small World is the best. El Cruz, as soon as you ride this ride, you'll be like, okay. I mean, I have my favorite rides at Disneyland, like just the nostalgia part of it, like Pirates of the Caribbean for me is something that I just really love that ride. I love Haunted Mansion, but Pirates of the Caribbean is probably my favorite ride. But Rise of the Resistance takes us to a whole new level. And this is something the videos cannot capture, is that when you're on certain parts of Rise of the Resistance, when you're in certain pre-shows, you are moving. You are standing and you are like moving. And if you're not holding on to something, you could fall over. It is crazy. So when you watch the videos, you're like, wow, that's a really good ride. But when you actually go on the ride, you're like, holy crap, I can't believe that just happened. And then when you're able to look around, and I can't wait to ride it again because I was videoing the first time and I'm going to video the second time, but I want to see more because there's so much to see. So I tend to look at where the camera is pointed, but sometimes I should be looking to the right, even if I'm not filming that part, just to see what it is. So yeah, it is nuts, you guys. Any questions, any other questions you guys have, leave them in the chat here, and either I can answer them or anybody in the chat can answer them who might think, we all think, but who might know the answers to those questions. But I said a little bit earlier, is I've never done anything like this. Like, this is crazy. Like, I am going to be waiting, and I know we said there's no waiting at the ride, but we're all going to be waiting for hours and hours outside of the park. But I think that's kind of part of the fun of the experience, and it's part of the chaos. But the fun is you're going to be with your friends, and you're going to be with a lot of other people who are excited to do the same thing that you're doing. So I just think it's going to be a good time. It's going to be freezing cold. I'm going to layer up for sure, because, and then here's the problem is you layer up, but then later in the day, it gets all hot and muggy. It's not going to get hot. It's not going to get hot. It's been pretty chill. It's been like 60 degrees every day. So it's not going to get hot, I guess you could say. But if you're layered up, it'll be warm. But I don't know. I say we have to do all this again in the summer. Yes, for sure. Disney Gem, I don't think there's a limit on how many tickets you can link to the app account. I could be wrong. I don't think there's a limit, because when big groups and big families come, they usually designate one person to do all of that. So I think, I mean, unless the limit's like 20 or 30 or something like that. But I've seen big groups, big families, like at the kiosk in front of me getting onto a ride, and one person has the phone and they're just swiping through the tickets, scanning them at the Fast Pass section for their whole group. And I've seen probably up to 13, 14 people in a group do that. So I don't know if there's a limit, but I think it would be very, very, a very big limit. Just want the Quinjet Marvel Land ride will be better than Star Wars. I don't know about that one, but I can't wait for Marvel Land to open up too. But this, I'm just telling you, it's something like I've never experienced before, the Rise of the Resistance ride, because we've all experienced some pre-shows, and they help kind of tell a story, and they're kind of cool. Like if you go Mission Breakout, like you're in the private office of the collector, and Rocket goes in there, and that's a really cool animatronic, and you're looking at it, and it's pretty dope, right? But the pre-shows here are crazy. I mean, they're just so good. I mean, the first pre-show with BB-8 and Ray, I mean, just amazing. And then you're taken outside and you're boarding onto a ship, and then there's a pre-show there, basically showing you how you get onto this Star Destroyer. And then when you're on the Star Destroyer, you go to another pre-show with the interrogation room, and then you ride the trackless system, which is crazy. I mean, there's 3 pre-shows in my mind. You have 3 pre-shows, and before even the pre-shows, the queue, the theming of the queue is just so good. So, man, and you know what, Juan? I could spoil your fun and tell you that that's not a real hologram. It does look like one, though. It does look like one, but they do use some trickery in there on the racing. I could tell you all about that trickery if you want. So, nice, Jacob. Well, I hope you get on Rise of the Resistance when you get out here, because it is a ride to remember. I mean, and besides the trackless ride system, the elements of the show are so awesome. Like the blaster marks. There's things that make it look like blasters, like the lasers from the blasters are flying through the air. And I'm not talking about the ones that look like they're going across the ceiling. I'm talking about in the middle of the air. It is crazy. And then how they make the ship look battle worn after the blasters have gone into it. It's really nuts. I've actually gone back and watched the video slow-mo, and I can see the effects that they're using. But when you're in the ride itself, you can't tell that these effects are happening, and it looks so realistic. It looks so good. It's really they outdid themselves. And I'll tell you what, I've been waiting for a trackless ride system like this to come to Disneyland, and it does not disappoint. I just hope, I really, really, really hope that there are many more trackless ride systems coming. I mean, I think every dark ride out there should be a trackless ride system, because the options are so limitless with what they can do with it. And we've seen that overseas. We've seen that in other Disney parks. But to actually ride the trackless ride system and the interaction you have with the other people in the other vehicles and just the different plots and different things, it's man, you guys, it's gonna blow you away. Those of you who are going and who will eventually ride this, it's gonna blow you away. You walk out of there in awe. Like my daughter walked out of there in awe. Like she did not know anything that was going to happen. She did not watch any videos. She had no idea what was going to happen from one moment to the next when she rode it. And she walked out of there just jaw dropped. Just like it was just amazing. Just super amazing. That's awesome. You're going to be here in 5 days. So yeah, it's crazy. That's all I can say is it's crazy. And that morning's going to be crazy. I'm going to try to store up on some coffee because I'm going to need lots of coffee that morning, I think, for sure. I hope they, here's what I do hope, and here's what probably everyone's not thinking about is I hope they open the bathrooms early. Because if I'm drinking lots of coffee, I might need to go tinkle tinkle. So I'm hoping those bathrooms in the Esplanade are opened up. But here's the problem again. You go use the restroom. How are you going to get back to your group? People are going to be everywhere. Hey, what's up, Tie Out with Michael? How you doing? Welcome to the stream. I was jumping in and out of your podcast earlier today about UFC fighting. So I'm like, I'm going to need like a bag inside your pants if I drink all this coffee and stuff, but we'll see what happens. So it's all those logistical things. Like you hope the restrooms are open early. You hope they have some sort of way to control the lines that are going to be forming inside the Esplanade, outside of security, on harbor. Do you think they'll have the buses running when the parking lot opens, or do you think everyone's going to have to walk from Toy Story over to the Disneyland Park? That's a long walk. Juan one time made me walk. He's like, I don't take the bus back. I just walk. And I was like, are you crazy? That's so far. He's like, no, it's not. It's just down the street. Of course, Becky and I are like, okay. And by the time we got to the car, we were so tired because after you're walking around Disneyland all day, it's like, how could you want to walk to Toy Story parking after that? It's nuts. I think so, Michael. I think just a little bit busy. It's going to be just a little bit busy. Can you recap the boarding pass process? Yes, it's pretty simple. If you first of all get the Disneyland app and download it on your phone, either from the Apple Store or from the Play Store for Google for Android, download the Disneyland app on your phone. Okay, buy your ticket in advance, or if you're an AP pass holder, make sure that is all linked onto your app already. Make sure you have your account and that's already linked and ready to go. So when you get to the parks, you're going to be waiting in line to get into Disneyland. Once you pass through the gates, even before you pass through the gates, on the app, there will be a button that says Join Boarding Group. It'll be for Rise of the Resistance, and it'll say Join Boarding Group. You cannot join the boarding group. Good night, London. Sweet dreams. You cannot join a boarding group until they unlock it. And right now, all we know is that they're going to unlock it at park opening, which is 8 a.m. There's a chance they could unlock it earlier, but I don't know. So you want to have that ready to go because I'm sure they're going to let us in. Usually they let you into Disneyland, a half hour before it opens, but they just stop you at the hub. So if it opens at 8, they'll let you in at 7:30, right? Or is it 7:15? Is it 45 minutes or a half hour? But you'll be in Disneyland, so you'll be ready. But it doesn't mean you'll be able to join a boarding group yet because it'll still be locked. So then once you're in Disneyland and you're waiting, you have to wait for them to unlock the join boarding group button. Once they do that, once they unlock the join boarding group button, you got to press that button. And once you press that button, if everything went right, you will get a boarding pass, 1 through 50 or whatever, however many boarding groups they have. You'll get a boarding group. You'll be assigned a boarding group. Once you're assigned a boarding group, then you have to now wait for your boarding group to be called on your phone. You'll give you a notification when it's your boarding group time. And we'll also have special kiosks throughout the park for the boarding group. So if you're boarding group 13, you don't need to go directly to the ride. Go enjoy Disneyland until they call your boarding group. Once they call your boarding group, you have 2 hours to get on the ride. So it's plenty of time to get over there and get on the ride if you're in the middle of another ride or something like that. Like, don't jump off. It's a small world. Well, it's a small world. It's closed, so we don't have to worry about that. Don't jump off the Jungle Cruise and try to swim to the front. It's because you got a boarding pass and it's time. You don't have to worry. You can wait till the ride's over, and then you can, because you don't want to be eaten by piranhas on the Jungle Cruise, right? So just stay on the boat, wait till your ride's over, and then you can walk calmly over to Rise of the Resistance. And then when you're on the ride, you can totally freak out and be like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, this is happening, this is happening. And you can freak out and enjoy the ride. Okay? Any other questions? You're staying at the Grand Californian, so I'll for sure get a boarding pass. We chillin'. I don't know. But here's the thing. I hear Magic Morning is happening in DCA that morning, not Disneyland. Is that true? I don't know, but we'll find out. There are about 140 plus boarding groups per day. Yes, but remember, if you're 100 or 130, if the ride broke down a lot, some of those boarding groups will not get to ride the ride. Just because you have a boarding group does not guarantee you a ride. I'm assuming the first 80 or so will for sure get on the ride. But after that, you never know. You never know. Because what if the ride goes down for 3 hours? That's 3 hours of boarding groups that are not being boarded. So those later boarding groups just keep putting push back. So, but they've been doing a lot of testing with the cast member preview of the ride, and just, they're working out a lot of the kinks, and the cast members are getting more familiar with the boarding and unboarding process and the pre-show time. So they're getting better and more efficient at boarding people and getting people into the interrogation rooms and getting things going. So it's going to be a much smoother transition for when the ride opens, hopefully, because they've been doing it now for a week. So they're more experienced with how things are supposed to run and go. What is up, Greg and Cindy? How are you? Congrats on being the first ones to ride. Hey, thank you so much. I had such a great time. I had to vlog this chaos. I'm excited. Yeah, we're all vlogging. We're going to be vlogging all the chaos. I think my vlog is going to be more tied around the adventure of getting onto Rise of the Resistance. I already have footage of the ride, but I will be trying to film it again just to get better footage of the ride. But I want to do a vlog on the adventure of being there at 2 a.m, Juan, kiddo. I know you guys are going to be there at 2 a.m, so I might be just a little late. Okay, just so you know, I might be a little late. And then seeing how Disney handles it and the chaos, and talking to different people, maybe doing some interviews with some people who are excited to ride the ride. Maybe when they come off the ride, talking to them. We'll see how everything goes, but it's going to be fun for sure. Do you think you get a chance to ride it twice? No, you can only get one boarding pass per day. So unfortunately, you can only get one boarding pass per ticket per AP per day. So I'm sure they every ticket and pass has a number, and they'll only be able to get it on there once. Because we were talking about that. We're like, well, what if you get boarding group 1 and then you get on the ride and then you get off, and then you're like, you go get another boarding group? You are not supposed to be able to do that. My question is, I know they are doing media day on Thursday. Are they going to be doing this whole drone X-Wing lightsaber fights between Kylo and etc. like they did in Florida? I have no idea. I really don't know. But you never know. They could be. I don't know if they're going to be able to, because Florida, they own all the property and stuff around the park. But here, they don't necessarily. And there's public streets and stuff like that. But I know, I don't know. It's definitely a possibility. It'd be awesome if they were able to do it. But I don't have the answer for that. Was it worth the wait for the ride to be built? What's your scale on 1 to 10? Oh, dude, it was worth the ride. If 10 being totally worth it, then yeah, 10 totally worth the wait. And for me, it was even really exciting because I watched the building being built, and the ride explains certain things that I was able to see during the process of them building it. Like the round circular room I know what that is, and I know how it functions. And some people have no idea. Like when you're on the ship and you board a ship from the outside, but you exit it and you're inside a Star Destroyer, I know how that ship gets you from point A to point B. Some people have no idea, and they're like, wait a second, I just walked through those doors from outside, and those same exact doors I'm walking through, I am now on a Star Destroyer ship. So it's pretty awesome. And then there's parts of the ride where it dug deep into the ground. I know what that was for now. So there's a lot of cool things. I know what corner of the building the AT-ATs are in, because I saw them put those into the building. I saw them build them in the building before they put the walls up. So it's pretty awesome. It's definitely cool watching something be built. Like even like the queue. Like I know, like I saw them building the queue, and then when they put plants and dirt on top of the buildings that are now the queue, I was like, whoa, that is cool. Is there a word on how big a boarding group is? I don't know how big a boarding group is, and I haven't seen anything on it, but I honestly haven't looked it up. The AT-ATs do move a little bit. I know you're wanting them to move their head completely, but one AT-AT actually does lower its blasters and blast you, and then the other one does not. So when I rode the ride, I got the view of the one that does not lower the blasters. I got the view of the one that has the side door open, and the stormtrooper shoots at us. But I have to ride this ride multiple times because there's 2 different ride paths that you can take, which are very similar, but they're still different. So I want to do both of them. You want their feet to move. Juan, I think that's still a pretty big challenge to be able to move a 7-story AT-AT in a confined space. Remember, these AT-ATs are on a loading. They're loaded on a Star Destroyer in space. They're being transported to when they get deployed to a land where they can then move around. So you know you're not realistically going to have an AT-AT walking around a Star Destroyer, Juan. Just so you know, I'm pretty sure you know this one, but okay. And if their feet move on, they might stomp on you and you would die. And we don't want that. Hey, Jacobs Fabs DX, how you doing? But that room is pretty amazing. And just so you know, there are only 2 AT-ATs in that room. But when you go in that room, I want you to look around and count how many you see, because you see more than 2, or at least you think you do. Do you see how they might move a handicapped person through the queue and then onto the ride? So what I was saying earlier, Spam Sludge, is that it looks like the queue is big enough for a disabled person to get through it on a scooter or a wheelchair. And the pre-show rooms are big enough with very wide doors that you can get through them. And even the spaceship flying you up to the Star Destroyer has a very big open space in it for a scooter or a wheelchair if need be. I don't know if they allow you to have a scooter on that or not. I just don't know. But then the one tricky part for me with the scooter and the wheelchair is going to be the interrogation room. Now, you can definitely get, I believe, those in there. But then from there, you will be boarding the ride vehicle. And that's going to be the curious part because it's kind of time sensitive. So I'm not sure if they have they might have this. They might have a special interrogation room for disabled. So that way you can board the trackless ride vehicle in however much time you need. And then it moves it into the scene. I don't know, but I'm sure we will find out as more people ride this ride. It'll be interesting to see. Does the ride move too fast? You can't see everything. Does it move you where you're seeing as part of the story? Does it make sense? It totally. So here's the best part about this ride time out with Michael is that from start to finish, it's like a movie story. It's like a story that you are involved in. You are the story. It's not like you are watching a story. It's not like you're going on Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs and you're watching the story of Snow White, as she ventures and the queen is trying to give her the bad apple and all that other stuff, and the seven dwarfs and all that stuff. It's not like that. You are the story. You are the reason this ride is happening. From the very beginning, first pre-show, you are given your mission. You are joining the resistance. And then from there, they are going to take you to a secret resistance ship or base or something, which gets, as they're taking you there, you get captured. And then from being captured, the resistance breaks you out, and you have to escape this, which you eventually hopefully do, and make it back to the planet Batu. But the story is Kylo Ren is trying to get you specifically, Kylo Ren is trying to get you to give up where the resistance base is at. And as long as you don't give it up and you escape, you're good. So it's not like you are in the ride and that is the ride. You're watching it. It is, you are on an adventure, and because you are on an adventure, that is why the ride is happening, not the reverse. You get what I'm saying? I hope I kind of make that clear. The ride, if you include the pre-shows, is I think about 18 to 20 minutes long, depending on your wait time for an open interrogation room. But the actual trackless ride is about 5 minutes long. But I consider the pre-shows part of the ride on this, because without the pre-shows, it's not the same adventure. So, hey Norma, how are you doing? Welcome. I know it's a lot to take in. Let me tell you, I still want to meet and greet with IG and Baby Yoda inside a backpack on a speeder bike, right? So that's the crazy part. Like, if you're not there, this ride doesn't happen. This story does not happen, because you are the story. It's not like kind of like Star Tours, I guess, in a way, where Star Tours, you're boarding a Star Tour and then you're on a mission and stuff, but you're along for the mission no matter what. Like, you're going along with it. This just takes it to a whole nother level, man. It really takes it to a whole nother level. Like, every aspect. When you get on the Star Destroyer, the First Order are giving you demands, and they're not the nicest people. They're telling you to get off your ship. They're telling you to get over there. They're telling you to form a line. They're telling you better follow these instructions, or else you don't want to know what's going to happen. It's crazy. Yes, the First Order cast members are very intimidating. It was so it was so funny because Jessica was so worried. I saw some Florida videos and they weren't too convincing, but I'm still going to enjoy the hell of it. Yeah, I don't know. I'll tell you what, and I don't know if it was because it was brand new, and I think maybe over time, maybe it'll get a little stale for them, but they were in their role. And when our ship landed on the Star Destroyer and the door opened, a First Order guy comes in and tells us like, we have been captured and we are going to be interrogated, and we're all standing there looking at him. And then he goes, "Now get off this ship." And he like yells at us, like, "Get off this ship." And everyone was so shocked and stunned. Everyone just kind of stood there like, and I'm like, I gotta move. And I just started walking forward, and he's like, they tell you, get off. And then when you're in the big bay area, they're telling you, over there, go over there, go over there. And it's like, you're like, it's not like, "Hi, how you doing? Welcome to the ride. You're going to step on over here and be very careful. And let's get you on over into this little room over here where we're going to take care of you." No, and I know, like, I think they could take it to a whole nother level, but I think they also have to be cautious, because some people don't like to get yelled at too much and they get a little crazy. But how is Kylo Ren's lightsaber effects when it cuts into the pod? Can you give a shout out to my wife, Melissa? Hi, Melissa. How you doing? Yeah, the effects are pretty awesome. And I've learned some things about the effects, and I learned about how they accomplish it. And it's not just a straight stake through the wall or through the roof. There's actually some high-tech stuff going in on there, and it's pretty dang awesome. Let me tell you, the way they use the effects and the lighting is amazing. Let me tell you, it is really amazing. So I almost forget that it's a couple days away that we'll be doing this, and I thought, oh, I better do a live stream real quick because tomorrow we are going to be having our first live stream podcast because we haven't really got onto the podcast platform yet, but we're going to be having Convo and Cocktails. So basically conversation and cocktails. We call it Convo and Cocktails with the Yaya Chronicles tomorrow at 7 p.m., where we're just going to be chit-chatting about a few topics. I'm sure Rise of the Resistance will come up tomorrow, but we're going to be talking with the Yaya Chronicles about some things. And right now we're doing that once a month where we're going to talk with some other people on our live stream, and maybe eventually move that to a separate channel, but we'll see how it goes first. So join us tomorrow at 7 p.m. for not 100% Disney related topic. This Convo and Cocktails is really going to be just about anything and everything. I'm sure there'll be a lot of Disney in there and theme parks in there because that's what we love to do, but it could talk about other things that are happening and other topics also. Let me take a little drink here. So I heard the Toy Story parking lot will be opening up at 2 a.m. I didn't get word on Mickey and Friends parking garage, but I'm assuming if Toy Story is opening at 2, I'm assuming the other one's opening at 2, but I don't quote me on that because I don't have actual confirmation. We're waiting for the official word from Disney, and hopefully that'll be pretty soon. That water tasted so good. I'm going to drink some more. Okay. So with that, any other questions regarding Rise of the Resistance? I want to talk to Becky about this ride. Now, Becky hasn't gone on, and Becky will not be there with us on Friday morning. She's like, I refuse to wait at 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning until 8. That's 5 hours. That's 6 hours at 2 to 8. It's 6 hours, you guys. But I mean, by the time you park and get over there and stuff, it'll be 4 hours before the park actually opens up. So hopefully they move you up in a little bit. El Cruz says, did your local Louie go home yet? No, he didn't go home yet. He's still here. I can't get rid of him. I'm just kidding. I love it when he's here. I love when he's hanging out here. So he's supposed to be going home at the end of January. I'm going to miss that guy too because I enjoy having him around here. He's very helpful and he's fun to talk to. Yeah, thank you. And as we finish this up, on your way out, don't forget to hit that like button. It does help, you guys. It does help to hit that like button a little bit. Where's everyone coming from? I'll be coming up from Kern County on Thursday afternoon. Well, I'll be coming from Orange County, just right down the street from Disneyland. I know most of all our group is from Southern California, so we'll all be pretty local. But man, it is good times. So I will not be live streaming though from the park on Friday morning unless we really get bored while we're waiting. If you're up at 2, 3 in the morning, maybe we live stream, but I'll probably leave that to other people in the group if they want to live stream or not. How many people per ride vehicle? You have up to 8 people per ride vehicle. So when I wrote it for the cast member preview, we had 3 in the front row and only 2 in the back row. So we only had 5 people, but you can sit up to 8 people per ride vehicle. There are 2 ride vehicles going in a group. So that's, 16 people in one little group going. So, but a lot happening there in the ride. So with that, you guys, and if you guys don't have any more questions, we will be jumping off. What it do, twinsies? How you doing? Hey, Carlos, how's it going? So we will be jumping off this live stream tonight. We have gone over our hour time slot. So I want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. It has been just a great live stream. Thank you so much for everybody who jumped on here. I appreciate it. Just a few things to throw out there. I think I'm going to subscribe now. Thank you, Zippy Mike. That would be awesome if you did. Appreciate it. If you like what you see, stay subscribed. If you don't, it's okay. But So just so you know, we have a video coming out tomorrow. We'll be doing Convo and Cocktails at 7 p.m. with the Yaya Chronicles. Wednesday, we were releasing a video of my daughter and I, Jessica. We were at the parks for the cast member preview, and then we also shot a subsequent vlog of us just riding some rides and having a good time. Right now, that is up on our Patreon. So for our Patreon members, they could watch that video live right now. Disney Daughter Day is up there. I know DDG is here, our Patreon member, so she could watch that video right now. But other than that, it will be popping up on Wednesday morning for the rest of you guys. And if you want to check out our Patreon page, you can do that at Patreon/Midlife Vibes. Also, don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Midlife Vibes or Twitter, just to make sure you know what's going on. We do a lot of Instagram stories when we're in the parks and stuff on Instagram. And those stories usually go to both Instagram and Facebook. So we post some pictures, but I do like doing the Instagram stories when we can at the parks and just our different adventures. We just did 4 states this weekend. We went all the way to Utah this weekend, and that vlog should be coming out. I'm going to want to say either Thursday or on the weekend, depending on if I can get it out before Friday, I will. If I can't, then it'll be on the weekend. But that'll be our weekend getaway trip through Vegas and Utah. So again, thank you to all the Patreon members out there. And thank you to everybody else out there watching the stream. I do appreciate it. And hopefully, hey, Mike Wheeler, thank you for stopping by and saying hi and giving the thumbs up. You're going to bed now, and I'm getting off the live stream, and I'm thinking I'm going to go edit a video right now or try to. So we'll see what happens. But thank you guys. Don't forget to join us tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. It should be an interesting live stream tomorrow. So thank you very much for joining. And as always, we love you guys, and we'll catch you next time. Have a good night, guys. See you later. Bye.